As the COO, you have a pretty wide purview. You pretty much see everything that we're doing on a daily basis. Could you just talk a little bit about, very simply, what does Citadel Securities do on a daily basis?
At a high level, our business is market making and liquidity provision, right? And so what that means is we have a set of businesses where for our clients, we provide liquidity, allow them to access the market or provide our own principal liquidity to get them the very best price possible on whatever trade or execution they would like to do. So at root, we are a market-making firm who has expertise in predictive analytics and trading. We leverage technology platforms to make that scalable across products, across geographies, to deliver value for our clients.
What is being a market maker, and what value does that bring to the markets?
Being a market maker in the most simple terms is an institutional customer, for instance, wants to buy security. If they're reliant upon another institution wanting to sell that same security at that exact same time at the same price, there's not going to be a lot of transactions done. So a market maker sits in the middle and is willing at any time to buy or sell a security for a stated, quote, set of prices. You're competing with other market makers to see who can offer a better price to the client. In order to do that, you need to be willing to take that risk on to yourself. The market making function, liquidity provision, is kind of the grease that makes the market work, allows transactions to happen, provides tighter spreads, allows for lower trading costs and people to get into the financial positions they'd like to get into, make the investments they'd like to make, invest in their, 401ks, saving for their kids' college, et cetera, with as low transaction costs as possible. That's the platform benefit for the market of the market making function.
Can you talk a little bit about, as it relates more specifically to our institutional businesses?
Our first real foray in the institutional business was our fixed income business launched in 2014. And I think that's a great example of, we thought about that business in a different way, in a Citadel Securities way. So we built that business differently than the current players at the time. Instead of having, rows and rows of human traders and salespeople responding to those manually, we built automation and technology that in many cases would auto-respond instantly to those requests. From a client's perspective, they have confidence that we're always there. Right. So that value proposition of building the business differently so you can always be there for your clients in times of market turmoil, in times of volatility, times of high volume, that's what's really differentiated us. And we've used that same ethos as we've expanded into institutional equities, ETFs, or institutional options business. And that's how we thought about building those businesses in a different way, in the Citadel Securities way, based on what we are very good at.
So that's on the institutional side. You mentioned when you joined the firm, you were responsible on the retail side of the business, CES. Can you talk a little bit about how that business has grown over time, and also maybe just fundamentally, what exactly that business does?
The retail business is similar to what we talked about before, providing liquidity to retail investors. Right. And so the way that business works is market makers like ourselves will take in the order from the retail customer and try to get them a better price than what's on the stock exchange. Right? And we can either do that by finding liquidity out in the market or providing that liquidity to ourselves. The difference between the price that we give the retail customer versus what's on the stock exchange is called price improvement. Right. Now that business has changed a lot since I joined 10 years ago, to the extent now that price improvement on average per order is actually much higher than the average commission was when I joined 10 years ago. And commissions themselves have actually gone to zero. And Citadel Securities and the other market makers played a big part in making the market efficient enough for that to be possible.
We partner with exchanges around the world. We deal often with our regulators. Can you talk a little bit about how we engage with them?
We play an active role in conversations with exchanges, the other stakeholders in the market, including regulators. We care a lot about market structure. Right. So we have core principles around market structure being fair, transparent, a level playing field for all, and all else equal, a reduction of complexity. Right. So an opaque market structure where there's a lot of complex Byzantine rules and it's hard to really tell what's happening, that usually, historically speaking, is worse off for investors and worse off for the market. So there's more transparency is what's happening. That's good. The rules are more fair. Everybody's looking at central clearing. Everybody can trade with everybody else, right? So anyone who has a better price can enter the market. The actual cost of trading has gone down dramatically. So investors and all stakeholders can put on risk and make investments that they want to make at a cheaper cost. And that really is the benefit of what we're trying to achieve and really the ethos of how we think about market structure change.
We have seen a lot of opportunities for growth, while some of the traditional competitors, maybe the large investment banks, have largely pulled back in many of these markets. Mm-hmm. How would you explain what's driving that shift over the last call it 10 years?
I mean, I think it's similar to what you see in many other industries where the market is changing rapidly, and so the ones who succeed are those who can innovate at a faster pace than the change that's happening in the market. Given that we are smaller, we're more nimble, we're more technologically focused, we're more analytics driven, we're able to identify opportunities and jump build things that are made and optimized for the market that we're going to be in. And it's really paid off. If you look at the breadth and scale of the firm today, from almost every metric, from a people perspective, we're more people than we've ever had. We have more businesses than we've ever had, more geographies than we've ever had. We're more profitable than we've ever been. And that, I think, speaks to those investments we've made and how that's paid off over time.